Good good evening. Good evening, and let's get my goggles on. I always do this, don't I? Okay, it's the 6th of April 2023. It's 10:36 p.m. Midnight, Charlie Man. Patrick, how are you doing? Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And to listen to what I have to say. And because sometimes I forget to sort of do. Sometimes I forget to say hello. I just get right into it. Um, I have I've just watched 47 minutes of Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects, and what year was this made? I should probably do everything with my glasses on. 2005. Okay, so it made in 2005, and I can't handle any more of it. There's a reason for this. How many times have I seen The Devil's Rejects? I saw it once, so I think this was the third time. Twice before, all the way through. I think I've seen it twice all the way through, and this time it's been on my mind recently. It's been on and off my mind recently to potentially watch this, and I just thought, oh, there's some really obnoxious moments that Rob Zombie presents in any of his movies, and I thought back and I thought, well, I'm going to put myself through it. And I thought, you know what, I'll put it on for 5 minutes. Oh, here we go. I had to stop at the 47-minute mark because I become so infuriated by Rob Zombie's writing. It's very much a hit and miss. It's a hit and miss situation with Rob Zombie's movies. Is it entertaining? Uh, for me, is The Devil's Rejects entertaining? Am I getting entertainment value out of it? Is there some substance there? That's questionable. For me, no, because like how much more of this situation is going to annoy me? Where we have a, I think Bill, and Sid the clown. He does a great job in this. He passed away a few years back now. Good actor, good actor. And he passed on a few years now. He's in this. He does a good job. I think Bill Moseley. I think Bill Bill Moseley is a competent actor. I've seen one interview with him. I think he plays a one-dimensional antagonist in this, and Sherry Moon has her moments. I think Sherry Moon can at times be annoying. It's so difficult to watch this movie. I find it so difficult. I'm not entertained by it. It's not, to me, it's not a classic movie. And in regard of swearing in a movie, is the what is it? It's the what's swearing in a movie? There's a very particular phrase I'm trying to put together here. When you're when people swear in a movie, they're expressing what's happening in popular culture and everyday life. Swearing is a part of everyday life, and quite often included in the movie. Usually included in the movie, and it's part of everyday life. However, I think that Rob Zombie has a tendency to go over the top with it, to spike that level up. Usually the antagonists should have likable, I think all antagonists should at least have likable qualities, because you need to be able to care about the characters in a movie. And Rob Zombie, in how he directs and how he writes characters, they end up on screen as being highly obnoxious. For the Devil's Rejects, they end up on screen as being it's a two-way swing. It's a black and white situation, because you've got I'm just going to say it how I see it. Who's this guy? Where is he? Geoffrey Lewis plays Roy. He's a very masculine guy. I've seen Geoffrey Lewis in previous movies, okay? And this Lou Temple, the Adam Banjo guy, is also a fairly masculine guy. And yet you've got this one-dimensional antagonist, Bill Moseley, and you've got the character of Roy and Adam, who are pretty much bowing weakly to... It's just a terrible fucking script. And all I can think about while I'm watching... I'm skipping ahead in the movie here to about the 40-minute mark, and all I can think about while I'm watching those scenes, all that's going through my mind is opportune moments where the Roy character and the Adam character could easily overcome Bill Moseley's character. Oh, but then you wouldn't have the rest of the whole story would change, and it'd be a different story. So you have to, of course, Rob Zombie must keep to his formula of what he calls entertainment, and so therefore the Roy and Adam get reduced to fractions of what they could be in that moment. But of course we have to have the stereotypical horror scenario. And at the beginning when they arrive at the farm, and there's a whole police force there, but these four people, Sheri Moon, Bill Moseley, the mother, and there's another guy there who we barely see. So these four people are going to completely outdo an entire police force. Like, what, there's 15 cops there, and they're just going to outdo them completely. Really? Why is my thing buzzing? Oh, my headphones. I put battery in my headphones. Sometimes they... Anyway. The battery lasts about 24 hours for my noise cancelling headphones. I digress. And so... the thing is... I don't even know if I'm going to even upload this, because I've stopped at the 47-minute mark, and I don't know if I can watch the rest of the movie. The thing is that Rob Zombie has this habit of displaying a lot of arrogant, obnoxious activity in his screenplays, and especially for the Halloween movies, which would touch and go with me for years and years. Rob Zombie's remakes of the Halloween. I've seen Halloween. I've seen Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's one, and I was borderline. I wanted to like them. I wanted to like those movies, and it was borderline with me for a while. And then one day, I'd seen them a few times, and then one day I rewatched the Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and just thought that I was going to say hated it. Yes, over the top violence, which doesn't work for me. Over the top violence never works for me, and it was completely unnecessary. And so I don't watch Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. And the last time I watched it was about 5 years ago. The Devil's Rejects. I'm not a fan of this movie, mainly because I feel infuriated by Rob Zombie's script writing. It grates on my nerves. It annoys me. The situations that these characters are in, all I'm thinking about the entire time is, you know, the guy's that Roy guy. The Adam guy is on the bed, Bill Moseley standing near him over him. I'm just thinking, in one split moment, he could kick him as hard as he possibly could, probably in the chin. And also, Bill Moseley displays a weak moment. When Roy's wife is she's naked, Bill Moseley is aggravating her. Roy gets up to stand up to Bill Moseley, and there's a moment there where in Bill Moseley's eyes he's like, it seems as though Roy could, if he just stood his ground, that he could stand up to the situation. And so when I'm watching a movie, I don't want to be thinking every other second, what could be different about this? How would I make this different? Well, these are the problems in this scene. These are the problems that are going on. Rob Zombie he's made a couple of good movies. This isn't one of them. And it was Three from Hell. I thought was okay. I've seen it. I thought it was okay. House of a Thousand Corpses, something that I will talk about. I've seen them. I go to House of a Thousand. I watch it about maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. House of a Thousand Corpses is it's an enjoyable movie. Two very different movies, two starkly different movies. I cannot enjoy Devil's Rejects. House of a Thousand Corpses is a well-made, fun movie. I don't even, because I'm at the 47-minute mark on this. I don't even know if I want to watch the rest of this movie. I don't know if I want to watch the rest of the movie because I'm getting really fucking annoyed right now. And 47-minute mark where they're going for the guns, and Roy and Adam have finally took an opportunity to potentially take Bill Moseley out. But even that's infuriating because it's just not fast enough. And it's like, come on, Roy, you're a masculine guy. I reckon you're pretty quick. I reckon Adam's a pretty quick guy. And the conversation that Rob Zombie came up with for them is awful. It's very annoying. It's awful. And so it's cringing. I'm cringing. I'm like, I don't know how much more of this that I can take. So I paused it. I stopped it. Uncertain that I'm going to go back to it. Sid, playing Captain Spaulding. He's not bad at it. He's not bad at it. And but it's of course Rob Zombie's going to throw these words down so we can get a whole feature out of this. But it's flimsy. It's really flimsy, and he's really stretching it. And it's almost every moment in this movie is going to be like, take your opportunity, take your fucking opportunity now, take the bloody opportunity, take these guys out. And you know what, you don't really want to be thinking about that the whole movie. Tension can be created. Good tension can be created. Rob Zombie doesn't create it in this. It's an annoying fest. It's irritating. And it's irritating. I think that's why I just haven't watched this movie many times over the years at all. Oh, and also at the very beginning of the movie, Tiny, Matthew, because I've got the cast up here. The cast. This tiny guy, Tiny. At the very beginning of the movie, he's in the woods there, and the cops are there, but he's at a very certain distance away from the cops. He's just out of their eyesight. They can't see him. Really? And I don't. When I can notice the photography, to me that's not good. It's to me that's not good. It gets a little bit unbearable. I find the dialogue in this movie just below par and cringeworthy. And I get that Rob Zombie has a particular sense of humour that he likes to inject into his stories and his characters. But Devil's Rejects falls short. And they're two different movies, because I actually enjoy House of a Thousand Corpses. It's actually well made, whereas this, so I might get through I may get through to the end of the movie. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get through to the end of it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you got this far, thank you so much. I may continue. I might put this up. I don't know yet. Thank you. Thank you for listening if you got this far. Really appreciate it. And a few words about the Devil's Rejects. And thank you. Right. Okay. Oh, hello again. This is like 4 minutes later, and I just thought of a couple more things. So, you know, you've got this hotel room there, and there's 6 people in the hotel room. They're making all this racket. There's a commotion. It just occurred to me, wouldn't the other guests pick up on this? Wouldn't the other people, if there's people, wouldn't they pick up on this? Is this a silent affair? Are people used to drama, so they just ignore it? And also, as well as you've got how many people in the room? You've got Roy's wife, you've got Adam, you've got that roadie guy who comes in. Rob Zombie just seems to love just to knock off characters for the hell of it. You've got oh, I've missed it. My light ran out, so I'm probably the lounge room light is on, but I'm probably practically in the dark. Let me see if I can. I just realised this. I'm put my mobile on. Let me get my mobile and get some light, because I realise I'm pretty much in the darkness. But how much have I got on my actual? Why is that not working? Oh, is it not enough? You'd be kidding me. There's not. Battery's on 12%. Let me get my torch. Hello, I got some light now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my other light up, my LED, which is in the garage. I'll bring it up. Actually, we'll bring it up next time, because it's quite cozy to do. It's quite cozy to do the review. It's quite cozy to speak on camera while sitting in this comfortable lounge chair. And this light is going to pike out on me soon. Unbelievable. So what it is that you've got a man with a gun, and you've got 5 other people in the room. One, from memory. 1, 2, 3, 2 antagonists and 4 other people, right? Now don't tell me, there's a gun, right? You got the gun. I think Sheri Moon has a gun as well. There's going to be an opportune moment. This light is just fading fast. Alright, so I'm pretty much working with no light here. There's going to be an opportune moment. This is how infuriating filmmakers can be. I mean, does Rob Zombie do this on purpose? This is on purpose to present a tacky, cringe-worthy fest, I think. Or maybe he just doesn't give a shit what people think and just makes what he wants. Because I've seen Rob Zombie's interviews. He's quite interesting. He's quite interesting to listen to. Could be an opportune moment to disarm the antagonist, whether it can be mentally disarming them and physically disarming them. A gun, 5 other people. Because all I'm thinking about during that entire scene is how to disarm the antagonist. And the humour is very dark. I mean, it's dark, it's trashy humour. And it is what it is. It's what it is. Maybe more on this later. Okay, I just want to say that. And when I got more light. Okay, yes, hello. This just occurred to me now. I'm putting this in Shotcut. I'm literally putting this in Shotcut now. And I'll always try, especially with film, especially with movies, to see a positive side of things. Look into it more rather than just shutting it off. I mean, there's certain films I have just totally shut off. But now, where did Rob Zombie storm this idea up from? Now, because he would have been through many experiences in life, read many things, and in putting this movie together, maybe he did a bit of research in how people who are kidnapped or forced into a situation like that, how they react, how you react mentally. And I was considering this. So, you've got these people in a room. These people seemed like genuinely nice people, standard people, and you've got these psychopaths, Otis and Baby. And how do you react in a situation like that? So what angle is Rob Zombie coming from with that, and adding his own humour into, so did he just conjure this from his own thoughts, from a semi-logical standpoint, or you do a bit of research and read some stories of people in these actual situations and how they actually react, which would consist of a great deal of anxiety. You'd freeze up, you get an adrenaline rush, your senses are not working properly, you're in shock, and so and incredible how Baby's gun was not loaded. That's a psychological thing, and I think that what happened is Rob Zombie has included some. Oh, I got my light back, but that's been charging for 10 minutes. This battery's been charging for 10 minutes. So I think it might have gone either way. Is that Rob Zombie has done a bit of research. He has read stories of people who have gotten themselves into this situation, or he just might have conjured it up semi-logically and thought, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have it this way, because even though, and I just was rethinking this, even though Roy's character is masculine, when you're in that situation, how do you actually react when you're in that situation? How would you react? How do you want to react? And when seeing it from a distance, like I'm watching the scene, it's in a movie situation. It's like an entertainment movie situation. And so, how does he want his characters to react? And is he presenting this in a 2-dimensional way? Like he's presenting it to the audience. He's presenting this situation to the audience. He's saying, this is the situation these people are in. This is how these characters are reacting to each other. This is how they're reacting in that situation. And that's it. And I'm going to put my black humour in there with a shake of salt. How do people react in that circumstance? And so it's quite dark, and I mean, geez, that moment where she says, I mean, it's stereotypical of the 80s, where she's, I'm going to shoot you, I will shoot you, I will shoot you, and she hesitates. And I think maybe Rob Zombie is giving that as a throwback to the 80s. And then Sherry just, Baby gets her with a knife. You can see that coming a mile away. Yeah, no, yes. I thought it was very important. These thoughts occurred to me only a few minutes ago, and I thought, I want to put them down. In my mind, in our mind, when we're watching things like this, it might be like, oh, I would react like that. Why can't the character react like that? And what has the director given us? What is the director presenting us with? And so it's quite interesting to see that from that point of view. I might not agree with it, and I think, well, they could have done that, because it gets really irritating when they don't fucking do that. But anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Okay, I'm gonna put this in, slicing this now. Okay. Hello, Midnight Charlie Man. So, 3 minutes later, 3 minutes later, just after I said, I don't know if I'm going to go back to it, I went back to it. I thought, you know what, I will go back and I will endure it. I'll see if I can endure it. And I think the further I got to the end, I was like, oh, this is sort of interesting now. I'm thinking, well, I'm only saying that, Pat, because, well, Pat, you're only saying that because it's only got 10 minutes to go. And I did make some notes because I got to about the 1 hour and 10 mark and realised that I had 5 things to remember. So I thought, I'll make some notes. Better make some notes. What was I going to say was, did I just lose 2 hours? Or did I learn, did I just lose 2 hours? Or did I actually learn something from this? And did I run out of mileage? End credits, just the end credits, when they're on the road, the end credits. In fact, actually, when we get to the last scene and we get to, I'm thinking of 5 things at once, not stuck words, I'm thinking of 5 things at once. And William Forsythe, Sheriff Whittle, he's an interesting actor. There's a few actors in this movie who do make the scenes interesting to watch. They are engaging. I think that Bill Moseley played a very one-dimensional antagonist. Tiny appears, Tiny Matthew McGorry, who was wonderful in The House of a Thousand Corpses. He suddenly reappears at the end and saves the villains, gives them like a redemption. Just appears out of nowhere, and then Bill Moseley says, "Are you going to be okay? We'll be back for you." Really? And then he walks back into the burning house. Oh, and okay, so Captain Spaulding, Otis, and baby Sherry Moon, who's a bit toxic in this movie. In Rob Zombie's other movies, Sherry Moon isn't necessarily toxic. In this, she's a bit toxic. So when they're in that room, that scene, and the sheriff he nails Otis to the seat, and he gets a staple gun. He says, "You're all right. I want that one. No, I want it. I want that one. Give me that one. I want that one. Give me it." And so he staples them, and they're there. They're in that scene, and he lights them on fire. You know what? I think it's Rob Zombie makes spoofs. He makes fodder, which is interesting. Glamorizing or romanticizing the villain, which happens in movies. And then you have the these psychopaths at the end who are having a celebration. They're all smiling to the 70s music, to Lynyrd Skynyrd. It does happen semi-frequently in certain Hollywood movies and B-grade movies. I was going to take my classes up a moment ago, but I'm going to have to refer to something soon. I haven't even gone to my notes yet. Because I thought I'll speak about what immediately just took place previously, and hoping my battery doesn't run out. So I've got all the cast up here, and I thought that Diamond Dallas, Billy Ray, the guy who was Danny Trejo, his assistant, he was pretty good, and I enjoyed that scene. And, no, I'm not stuck for words. Sometimes I've got 3 things to say at once, and so Charlie Altamont, Ken Foree, the African American guy. Really, he's a really interesting actor. And from watching a movie which I think the script is good actors can make a terrible script sound really good. And I think that Ken Foray's scenes are he's captivating. He's interesting to watch. And I think that's what got me through the second half of the movie, was that these guys were pretty good. They were pretty good. And it's when Otis is on the bed with that woman and Danny Trejo's assistant, the guy who's not his assistant, the tough man guy. He walks in and he grins, and Otis is on the bed, and there's this Billy guy, that big guy. He's got a bit of charisma. That guy's interesting. And he stands there and he grins at them. That's a bit of a moment. I thought that was a bit of a moment. Bit of a gripping moment, actually. It was quite well done. What occurred to me is that I still haven't got to my notes yet. What occurred to me is that when they first arrive at Ken Foray's joint, right? The brother of Captain Spaulding, when they first arrive there, notice that Rob Zombie uses a great deal of close-ups, because if you haven't come back, and been able to see them all, that dialogue's not interesting. The dialogue, and what I noticed is that this dialogue is just not interesting. Okay, it's a bunch of these guys who have done some pretty bad deeds, and they're meeting up at this other person's place. And so, how can we make this compelling? The close-ups. So those they did all close-ups, because you ever had a shot, if we come back from it all, it's not compelling at all. And that whole scene where they're celebrating, they're drinking, this is him with the girl, the two brothers are talking. Ken Foree makes it. He makes those scenes, and Sid is really good as well. He's a good actor, Sid. I think he's an interesting actor. And with what little Rob Zombie gives him, I think he does well with it. Really well, actually. And it is a shame that he left us so early, because I think he had a lot more to give. I think Sid had a lot more to give. And William Forsythe, I think he's very good in this. However, is that come on, don't. They get pained by these things. They get really pained by these things. Otis and Baby and Sid, Captain Spaulding. You're going to get smoke inhalation. Smoke inhalation. As soon as that fire starts, within a minute or two, you're going to get smoke inhalation. And don't tell me, because it seemed like about half an hour had passed and they're still in that fire. You're not going to survive the fire. You're not going to be able to function and operate for that long. That's just the ridiculous suspension of disbelief. No. And at the end, when Tiny seems to walk back into the burning house, no. And also, when I first saw this movie years ago, I didn't get it, because I didn't get it at all, the Groucho Marx part. Because I watched a few interviews. I've listened to a few interviews with Rob Zombie in more recent times, and as it turns out, that was it's a bit solemn, it's a bit sad, because I think that's a very sore spot for Rob Zombie. As it turns out, Rob Zombie always wanted to make a movie about Groucho Marx, the Marx Brothers. Was in an interview he says, the one thing I've always wanted to do is make a Groucho Marx movie, and he said I thought it was almost going to happen at one point, but it didn't. I reckon that's a really big sore spot for him, because that scene with Groucho Marx, and I didn't even realise it before. Now tonight, I haven't seen this movie in many years, and I'm like, oh right, I get it now, and it's a bit of a sore spot for him. And perhaps one day Rob Zombie will be able to make his Groucho Marx movie. Perhaps he will. And it's like that was a bit dark. my notes. I made some notes, and this battery. I hope it will last. I hope this battery will last. What does my notes say? Texas 2. Oh yeah, right. So the Hispanic woman, she goes into the hotel and she sees the bodies there, and then the woman who has the Leatherface mask on, and then she straight. I think Rob Zombie thought to himself, "Oh well, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 in 1986. I only watched that the other night, so I think what I'll do is throw that mask on her. I'm going to get her to run out, and I'm going to overlap scenes. So I'm going to take the scene with Sally Hardesty after Franklin gets killed in the wheelchair, and she's running. So I'm going to overlap the two scenes. So I'm going to take the woman when the puts the what's his name? The DJ from Texas Chainsaw 2, and she's got the mask on, right? She's mask on, and so I'm going to overlap those scenes, and that'll be my nod to Texas Chainsaw 2. And I'll have it run out there, and I'll be obvious about it. It's okay, it's a homage, it's a nod to Texas Chainsaw 2 and Texas Chainsaw. I get it. But when the woman runs out into the highway, the truck driver, who apparently doesn't see her from a distance, he's snorting cocaine or something, because she's on that road for quite a while, and the truck driver apparently does not see her. Didn't see her? Because I think he had a lot of time to see her. I don't know, I think he had quite a lot of time to see her. Otis is a scared man. Because he has a conflict in that conflict. Roy confronts him, and I've already said this before, but he has another confrontation with Sid. He has another confrontation with Sid, and in that confrontation with Sid, I saw fear. I don't know if Rob Zombie said, "Look, I want your character Otis. I want you to do this with your character." I don't know if Rob Zombie said anything to him, or he just decided that he would do that. But in that interaction with Sid, Otis, you can see a look in his eyes of fear. He's a scared man. That's what I get from it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm seeing this for the first time. He's a fearful man. And I think that he was trying to get a rise from his victims, and I think the antagonist gets annoyed when I think the antagonist, the villain, can get annoyed when victims become passive, and it's a psychological situation, completely psychological situation, and presented in a certain way in certain films, and I think, yeah, presented in a certain way. But what I saw in Otis' eyes when Sid was confronting him, fear, and as a scared man, I don't know, he has that testosterone. It's tough in certain situations, but underneath it all, I think he's scared. Yeah, perhaps they're all stood up, being passed out. I discussed that. Rob. What? Rob. Oh yeah, the Groucho thing. I discussed that. Why did we get pulled? Why did we get pulled into feeling okay for the obnoxious antagonist? And second, oh yeah, there's the romanticism of you got the villains who do terrible, nasty things to their victims, and then the second half of the movie, it seems they're off celebrating and having a relax and have to chill out a bit and recover from it all. It's like, oh yeah, they're okay. It kind of, I find it a little bit irritating. It's like, it's romanticised now. Suddenly we're caring. Suddenly we are caring about the villains and the antagonist. Suddenly they're okay people. And I think the flip side of that for this movie is that Sid has charm. That Sid Haig, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. He has charm. So does Ken Foree. They're I think they all make the second half of this movie work. Not so much Bill Moseley. I think he's a one-dimensional character, and Cherry Moon's a little bit toxic in this, in a sense. Yeah. And I liked Billy Ray Snapper. Once again, Danny Trejo's the guy who's with Danny Trejo in this movie, and he was good. I liked him. I think that's it. The reason I got through the second half of this movie was because I thought that they were engaging. I thought the script was a bit shallow, but I thought that they were engaging. Michael Berryman Cleven, he's pretty good too. And when I'm watching a movie, I don't want to give up on it. So I try to look for anything positive in it. I try to look for anything that's engaging. I try to stay with it if I can. Everything that comes along, I'm like, okay, this could be okay. Is this somehow engaging me? I think there was a bit of a nod. I think Rob Zombie gave a bit of a nod to Fear and Loathing. Right at the end scene, the camera's up high, looking down at the car, and I think that was perhaps a bit of a nod to Fear and Loathing. Was that a bit? I think that was a bit of a nod to Fear and Loathing. It could have been. And I saw Fear and Loathing on a big screen, by the way. I saw it on a big screen. I didn't see this on a big screen. I don't remember. I saw this a while after it came out. I saw Fear and Loathing on the big screen. But I digress. I can talk about that later. I haven't seen Fear and Loathing for a long time. I have it on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray. Haven't seen it in years. Seen it many times. But I digress. So, the second half of this movie was fodder, complete and utter fodder, yet it was made, held in there because of the performance of the actors involved, not by Sheri Moon by any sense, but by these other fellows who were okay and brought out something. I don't intend to watch this movie ever again. I am glad that I saw it tonight. I did learn a thing. I did learn something from it. There was a few things I took in, some negatives. Okay, so it's 1:36 a.m. on the 7th. I'm not putting the Lounge of Night on for this. I ran the film before. I want to say this very briefly. There were a few negative things about the film. But those characters, certain actors, kept me. Certain actors kept me there until the end. Only just. Not Rob Zombie's best effort at all. What I wanted to say was thank you so much. If you're still here at the conclusion, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you watching, and hope that you found the things that I have said interesting. What are your thoughts? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. But thanks so much for watching. Really, thanks a lot. I appreciate it a great deal. And those are my thoughts. I'll probably think of one more after this, but I think I've thought of all of the really gritty and important stuff that, to me, that was important. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching. Just thanks. And your comments below. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button. I'm not used to saying that, but if you enjoyed this, please click the like button. It'll help my algorithm. Put your comment if you have any thoughts about this movie. If you've seen it numerous times, if you like it, if you actually really enjoy this movie, comment down below. I'd be interested to hear it. Yeah, it's 1:36 a.m. here, so I'm going to wrap this up now. And thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Okay, so that's my thoughts on the Devil's Rejects. Alright, Midnight Charlie Man, Patrick, thank you.